What's up, everyone? Autismo Dynamite is back for another video. How are you guys doing? Let me just see if I'm recording. Yeah, I'm recording. Sorry about that. Anyway, off of watching George Lidard versus Tyler Denny. Decent fight. Although I will say round 11 is right now for me the best fight of the year. No, not best round of the year right now. It was absolute quality. I recommend watching that round. It was fucking bloodbath. But anyway, yeah, congrats to George Lidard, and hopefully you can get a decent, get a chance at becoming world champion soon. But in the meantime, we're not here to talk about middleweights. We are here to talk about the weight division below, the super welterweights. So I don't know if you saw, but on Instagram, on Ring Magazine, we got the announcement that we are potentially, and I say potentially because it's not fully announced yet, but potentially we are going to be getting a fight announcement from Jaron Boots Ennis, who last year in October made a brilliant statement win in his debut at 154 pounds. Against, let me just get the name up. It was a first round stoppage, which I think was a brilliant introduction to him at 154. And I think it showed he still has the power, still has the skills, he's got still quality despite having moved up in weight. Can I find him on? Here we go. So, yeah, Isma Lima, who was the who I believe was the IBO. Yes, he was the IBO Super Welterweight Champion. It wasn't on the line for this fight, but nonetheless, it was a great statement win for Ennis, and I think really sets him up for any big fight in this division. And honestly, a lot of people have been talking about wanting to see him against Virgil Ortiz. And don't get me wrong, I really want to see that fight as well. But in the meantime, it's actually been reported that he's actually going after a different super welterweight. It's been reported he will be fighting unified super welterweight champion Xandar Zayas. May have slightly mispronounced that name. I do apologize, but yeah. So if you don't know who he is, he's obviously current, as I said, the unified super welterweight champion. He holds the WBO belt, which let me just quickly find. It was previously held. Well, it wasn't pretty. It was previously held by Sebastian Fondora, who vacated it for whatever reason. To which Xandar fought Jose Garcia Perez in a dominant victory to win it. He would then fight to a split decision against Abbas Bayo for the WBA belt. Now, what are my thoughts on Xandar and what are my thoughts on Ennis? First with Xandar, I think he's actually a really good for 23 years of age. I think he's growing to be a quality fighter. You know, obviously, as I said, 23 years of age, and he's already a unified world champion, and could probably fight on for at least another decade. I think he's quality Puerto Rican fighter. Decent power, really good skills. There's actually a video detailing his skills by the modern martial artist, which I'll link down below in the description. As for Jaron Boots Ennis, I think he's one of the most exciting fighters I've seen in like the past few. Like, he's essentially a fighter who basically just not only just shows beautiful skills, but also shows pure entertainment from start to finish. Like, he's won 35 of his 31 of his 36 fights by knockout. I thought he originally had 35, but turns out he actually had a no contest, but whatever. But yeah, I think he's a quality fighter to watch. And when I heard this fight announced, I actually thought I was actually pretty shocked to hear it, because honestly, I honestly felt like they were just pretty much just gonna make the Ortiz fight despite no world titles being on the line. Maybe considering he's had the belt for over a year, or the interim belt for over a year, they could have maybe stripped Sebastian Fundora and just elevated Ortiz to become the new world champion. But nonetheless, and hopefully maybe he can eventually get a shot at a world title. But nonetheless, I felt like they should have just made that fight away, because even if it would have been a crime to have no world titles for that fight, I feel like having them fight anyone else would probably just be a bit of a banana slip on them clashing one day, and I really want to see that. But nonetheless, I think this could actually be a really good fight for Duran to properly stamp his authority on 154 pounds, like he did at 147 pounds. Like, honestly, like, no disrespect to anyone at 147 pounds, but, and I know some people would maybe argue otherwise, but I honestly think Duran beats Ennis would destroy all of them. I think he beats Lewis Crocker. I think he beats who's the WBA one? Lewis Crocker. Rolly Romero. I think he beats Ryan Garcia. I think he beats even Devin Haney. I think he wipes all of them. No disrespect to both fighters, but I just think Duran is just a quality fight. One of the best fighters right now. And after making it to 154 pounds, I feel like he's shown me he still has it at that weight, and I'd really love to see if this fight does happen. I think it would actually be a really good win for him for the weight class, and I think would actually set up the Virgil Ortiz fight beautifully, because we'd finally have like world titles for that fight. I think it would actually be amazing. Who do I think would win? I would probably argue, I'd say definitely Ennis. I feel like no, to be fair, respect to Xandar for potentially taking, like, it's reported that he's already in camp training for this, even if it's not properly announced yet. But I think it goes to show how that he's certainly willing to take on all comers. Like, he's only 23 years of age, and he's getting in with one of the greatest, in my opinion, one of the greatest like fighters alive right now. At least probably the greatest welterweight, or former welterweight or whatever right now. Yeah, I think it would be a really good fight. If Xandar was to win, I think he would probably be best to then fight Ortiz instead of Boots, even though I think it would be a shame if that were to happen. Honestly, I think Boots versus Ortiz would be a much greater clash, considering both men are destructive knockout artists. You know, obviously you have Ennis coming off a first round stoppage, you have Ortiz coming off a second round stoppage. I think, yeah. But nonetheless, like I said, I think it'll be a really good fight. I'd probably predict Ennis to win via stoppage within the mid rounds, maybe later. I don't see him taking him out early, but I could see it. Down the stretch, I could easily see him stopping him somewhere around the second half of the fight, maybe round 6 or 5. But who knows? Yeah. Probably a bit of a short video. I don't know. I'll have to check the time, but yeah, I just wanted to quickly talk about it because I've made a video a bit, and yeah, it actually piqued my curiosity. I think it's a really good fight, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And also look out for a video that I'm going to be posting for April 1st, which will probably be the most personal thing I've probably ever done as far as like online goes. I'm not going to spoil anything, but yeah, foreshadowing. Yeah, bye.